Hello. Hello and welcome to this video. As said in the last video in the playlist, we will study section 9.16.2, the JSON SQL JSON path language. Now I want to say something in this video is that PostgreSQL manual, as you can see, is more than 3,000 pages. You should not try or stress over knowing everything, particularly memorizing things. Just be aware of what is what and master the basics. By mastering the basics, I mean the data types, the table creation, that is DDL, DML, those things you need to remember. The querying language of SQL, that is something very important. And if I remember, I have warned about using JSON with the PostgreSQL. Personally, I would probably never use JSON in a SQL database or an SQL database. But then that is my opinion and experience. You can choose to do differently. But what I wanted to say is that do not try to remember everything. It is simply not possible unless you have that gift from your birth. So be aware what is where and you should be fine. So at the end, I will show you my question answer website where you can come and ask SQL questions. So let's get started with this video. SQL or JSON path expressions specify items to be retrieved from a JSON value, similarly to XPath expressions used for access to XML content. In PostgreSQL, path expressions are implemented as a JSON path data type and can use any elements described in section 8.14.7, which we have already covered. Just to show you, this is JSON path type. Okay? That section it is talking about. We go back here. 342, right? Right. JSON query functions and operators pass the provided path expressions to the path engine for evaluation. If the expression matches the queried JSON data, the corresponding JSON item or set of items is returned. If there is no match, the result will be null, false, or an error, depending on the function. Path expressions are written in the SQL JSON path language and can include arithmetic expressions and functions. A path expression consists of a sequence of elements allowed by the JSON path data type. The path expression is normally evaluated from left to right, but you can use parentheses to change the order of operations. If the evaluation is successful, a sequence of JSON items is produced, and the evaluation result is returned to the JSON query function and completes the specified computation. Also, I forgot to say that once we finish the section of read through, there will be an example of JSON. So please wait for that. To refer to the JSON value being queried, the context item use the $variable in the path expression. The first element of the path must always be $, that is the root element. It can be followed by one or more accessor operators which go down the JSON structure level by level to retrieve sub-items of the context item. Each accessor operator acts on the results of the previous evaluation step, producing 0, 1 or more output items from each input item. For example, suppose we have some JSON data from a GPS tracker that we would like to parse, such as we have track segments, and within segments we have location, start time, and HR. And so these are in increasing order. HR is in increasing order, and time stamp will also increase, of course. So as JSON, access DSet. The above example can be copy pasted into PSQL to set things up for the following examples. The PSQL will expand JSON into a suitably quoted string constant containing the JSON value. To retrieve the available track segments, need to use the dot key accessor operand to descend through the surrounding JSON objects. For example, select JSON path query colon JSON and dollar will be the root element followed by track followed by segments. So let me show you. Okay. Control U, Control R, start. I'm not sure if the podman is running. Let me look at the status. Okay, podman start Jolly to run, and then we have exit, and then we can simply drop into this. So let's select this, and we give a semicolon. Okay, dset is not. Okay, seems like it won't work. Okay, we are selected as JSON. And can we do this now? No. So we'll have to give that JSON. Invalid command is let's leave it. I don't want to get into this. There will be example at the end in any case. Okay. So now you have selected segments. So these segments will come in the output in an array. Okay. Or what we can do is, let me see. Let's leave it. I don't want to get into practical stuff right now. We will show at the end the examples will cover all this. To retrieve the contents of an array, you will typically use the star inside brackets operator. The following example will return the location coordinate of for all the available track segments. So use star in the segments, the array, and dot location will give you location. Here we started the whole JSON input value dollar, then the dot track accessor selected the JSON object associated with the track object key, and then the segments accessor selected the JSON array associated with the segments key. Within that object, then the star accessor selected each element of that array, producing a series of items. Then the dot location accessor selected the JSON array select associated with the location keys within each of these objects. In this example, each of those objects had a location key, but if any of them did not, the location accessor would have simply produced no output for that input item. To return the coordinates of the first segment only, you can specify the corresponding subscript in the bracket accessor operator. Recall that JSON array indexes are 0 relative. So if we give 0th index in segments and then find out its location, we will give the first location. The result of each path evaluation step can be processed by one or more of the JSON paths operators, and methods listed in segment 9.16.2.3. Each method must be preceded by a dot. For example, you can get the size of an array. So we get the size of segments array, which is 2. More examples of using JSON path operators and methods within path expressions appear below in section 9.16.2.3. So we will eventually get to section 9.6.1 and 16.2.3. A path can also contain filter expressions that work similarly to where clause in SQL. A filter expression begins with a question mark and provides a condition in parentheses. Filter expressions must be written just after the path evaluation step to which they should apply. The result of that step is filtered to include only those items that satisfy the provided condition. SQL or JSON defines three-valued logic, so the condition can produce true, false, or unknown. The unknown value plays the same role as SQL null and can be tested for with the is unknown predicate. Further path evaluation steps use only those items for which the filter expression returned true. The function and operators that can be used in filter expressions are listed in table 9.53. Within a filter expression, the iterate variable denotes the value being considered. That is one result of the preceding path step. You can write accessor operators after at the rate to retrieve component items. For example, if you'd like to retrieve all heart rate values higher than 130, you can achieve this as follows. So we iterate through all the segments and then we find out a chart and then we filter it, and the HR items will be tested here from at the rate whether they are greater than 130 or not. And if they are greater than 130, they'll be selected. It will be 135 in our case. To get the start times of segments with such values, you have to filter out irrelevant segments before selecting the start times. So the filter expression is applied to the previous step and the path used in the condition is different. So you select the segment.hr greater than 130, so that will select the segment, and then you select start time on that. Now since it contains a space, you need to double quote it. If it did not contain space, I think you can do it without double quoting. You can use several filter expressions in sequence if required. The following example selects start times of all segments that contain locations with relevant coordinates and high heart rate values. So we select all the segments, the elements of the array of segments, and we test if the location is less than 13.4. Okay, at the rate location, that is the second element of location, is less than 13.4, and then we filter HR is greater than 130, and then we print the start time if both the conditions are satisfied, which is this case. Using filter expressions at different nesting levels is also allowed. The following example first filters all segments by location and then returns high heart rate values for those segments if available. So first we look at the location one. So for example, if you remember this, we selected the location one. We are talking about this location here. Okay, that should be less than 13.4. .hr, we pick the HR of that, and then that heart rate should be greater than 130. We can also nest filter expressions within each other. This example returns the size of the track if it contains any segment with high heart rate values or an empty sequence otherwise. So we filter here. So first we get all the segments, and then we test whether the HR of those are greater than 130, and then we so there one let me count the parentheses, 1 2 3. So if it exists, if one such segment exists, we take that and we filter on segments.size. So here you see the element which is considered is the track element. So now we have deviations from the SQL standard. PostgreSQL implementation of the SQL JSON path language have the following deviations from the SQL or JSON standard. As an extension, let me see how big this is. Okay, we can cover this and then we can stop. So Boolean predicate check expressions. As an extension to the SQL standard, a PostgreSQL path expression can be a Boolean predicate, whereas the SQL standard allows predicates only within filters. While SQL standard path expressions return the relevant element or elements of the queried JSON value, predicate check expression given return the single three valid JSON result of the predicate, true, false, or null. For example, we could write this SQL standard filter expression. So we take the segments and then we test every element of the array and we pick up a char from that array, and that should be 130. So we get this entire thing. Okay. The similar predicate check expression simply returns true, indicating that a match exists. So we do JSON path query on $track.segments. We iterate at all the elements and we pull out a char, and that should be greater than 130, then it returns true. Note that predicate check expressions are required in the accelerate operator and using the path match function and should not be used with the accelerate question mark operator or the JSON the path exist function. Regular expression interpretation. There are minor differences in the interpretation of regular expression patterns used in like regex filters are described in section 19.16.2.4, which we will study further. So I think I'll stop here. I'm not now. Let's come back to the original example. So why this gset command is not working? So gset command is not working. Okay, that is change. It says invalid command gset. Let's see if there is gset command here. Gset is here. Execute query and store result in PSQL variables. Okay, gset. Just be JSON. Okay, so we have select track segments location start time HR. gset is available as a command. So as you can see, gset is here. It requires an optional prefix execute query and store result in PSQL variables. So it should store that in the query. So why this is not working, I'm not sure. As JSON gset. So this should work. Okay, semicolon is not needed. Okay, so that was my bad. There is no semicolon, but I put the semicolon, and now you can execute here, and this should give us the output. So my mistake, I should not have given semicolon. It is not a normal command. I missed that this is actually a command that does not require semicolon at the end. Okay. So, for example, backslash L does not need semicolon, backslash DT does not need semicolon. So it's a PostgreSQL specific command. It is not a standard SQL query. Okay, so we have reached till here as we had planned. Now, in the next video, we will study strict and lax mode, and probably we will cover operators and this. Let me see. Okay, we will try to finish up to here by number 351. There will be quite a bit of discussion. Excuse me. So 5 pages are there. We should be able to cover till that table. So I thank you for watching the video, and I invite you to become a member of Mundrika.ashtavakra.org. You can come and create a login and ask questions to me related to PostgreSQL. You can use PostgreSQL, or if you want to ask generic SQL questions, use the generic SQL tag. You will need to make a login to ask questions. And the editor is in Markdown, so Markdown help I have prepared. You can come and look at how to edit text for Markdown. Okay, it supports syntax highlighting as well as math and tables and all other things are there, so you can use that. Okay, so with this I will end this video here, and I hope that you enjoyed this video and we are finding the playlist useful and informative. So we'll meet again tomorrow with more details on JSON functions and operators. Till then, I wish you bye, and I say bye to you, and keep learning, stay curious, have a great day, and most importantly, enjoy.